Hello, welcome. 3 signs that an Aquarius likes you. Alright, number 1. They may become standoffish and a bit distant. Maybe. We'll get into some other manifestations in a bit, but this is a common one, and this is a bit tricky, because just because this happens, it's not necessarily a given that they like you. This also happens when they don't like you. It all kind of depends on depends on a couple of things. It depends on how confident the Aquarius is. It depends on how healthy psychologically the Aquarius is. So there's a lot of stuff to kind of gauge here. And getting to know that particular Aquarius too, that's really important. But a good sign that they like you is if they're interested in talking to you and getting to know you, but they're maybe a little bit airy, a little bit I think actually a big thing here is whether the Aquarius is mature or immature, because an immature Aquarius can be really standoffish and distant. A mature Aquarius isn't necessarily distant and standoffish. They're a bit more just like, this is the thing. Okay. And coming from personal experience, I have Sun in the house of Aquarius. I was born to 2 Aquarians. Sun in the house of Aquarius is basically the same thing as being an Aquarius. Aquarians experience a lot of difficulty in life. In certain ways, in particular, male Aquarians. Sun in Aquarius is a very challenging placement. It's not a bad placement. There's no such thing as a good or a bad energy, but it is challenging. And so to experience what most Aquarians experience, well, actually all of them experience one way or another, whether it's this particular manifestation or that, it's a lot of coldness, a lot of alienation, a lot of isolation, especially when young. And so when they actually like somebody, when we actually like somebody, it's almost scary, because we're so used to being on our own, taking care of ourselves, being independent. And even if we're really healthy and mature, we're really used to our independence, being a really strong individual. I mean, honestly, even subconsciously, you can see with right there, it's a kind of like a relationship, you know? But like everybody, we do love. Like everybody. Even if we are, never give love, never get married. Yeah, well, then you meet somebody. Who knows about the marriage part? But the love part happens. So even with a healthy Aquarius, there's a sense of, I like you, but is this too good to be true? What if you don't like me? There's this sense of self-protection. And everybody has a sense of self-protection. You know, Cancers, they put that shell down. Everybody's got their thing. Aquarians become distant. They kind of peace out because they can be scary if they like somebody. Now, a sign that they don't like you and they're just being distant is that they won't answer your calls at all. They'll just completely drop off the map. And if they're doing that and they do like you, then they're just, honestly, they have a lot of inner work to do, and there's probably not a good idea to try and be in a relationship with them, because they're probably not in a healthy relationship with themselves at this point. And that's essential for everybody, but I think especially for Aquarians, because Aquarius energy, I think along with Gemini and Scorpio, maybe not quite as much in certain ways, but in some ways just as much, this energy tends to go to extremes. And so the spectrum is wide. The spectrum is wide for every energy, but for Aquarius and then Gemini and Scorpio, it's fathoms deep of a difference. So if you really like an Aquarius, and they're a bit standoffish, I think the key is this: be patient, be warm and inviting, but give them their space. That's essential at all times. They're going to need their space at all times regardless. And just do your best to get them to feel comfortable and open, and focus on the friendship. Focus on it just being fun, comfortable. You don't have to worry about it. Like the romance thing, that's a secondary side consideration, you know, not bringing it up or anything. That can be really helpful to help the Aquarius be at ease and get over their own fears, and let you in and be vulnerable. Number 2, they'll want to show you their true weird selves. Now, this is after that space, that distance, that is it too good to be true type thing. Do they like me too type thing. That's when the Aquarius really opens up. And I think that's what's so funny about Aquarius energy is we are the consummate individuals. We are completely independent, self-sustaining in so many different ways. But we also have this side to us. You know, I always, Aquarius energy to me is the wolf and the pack. We are the lone wolf. We are able to go off into nature and fend for ourselves. And, metaphorically speaking, as per wolf wisdom, speaking of which, with wolf wisdom, we go on these different paths. We experience things on our own, and we come back to the pack and we teach. That's why Aquarius is such a big teaching energy. And wolf wisdom is the same. So the pack is a huge part of our life. And for Aquarians, this is part of our true weird selves, is our connections. Everybody's going to be different. Every Aquarius is going to be different. Some Aquarians are a lot more scientific, so their pack is going to be maybe their friends at work who they work with doing experiments or whatever. Or for me, for example, as a musician, it's my bandmates and my closest friends, but most of my closest friends are my bandmates. That's accurate. All my bandmates are my closest friends, but yes, then there's a couple other individuals beyond that. So as per meeting their crew, their organization, the people they feel connected with, that's a huge part of if they like you, because they're inviting you to get to know kind of extensions of themselves, their best friends. But even more importantly, in so many ways, because we, as Aquarians, it would hurt if there can't be a friendship between you and our friends. But ultimately, we don't really care. That's if we like you, that's all that matters. But long term, that it would be nice to bridge that gap if possible. But don't worry about it. Showing our true weird selves, that's a key thing for us Aquarians. And for me, again, astrology is an Aquarius art form and science in so many ways. And being able to talk astrology, even if the person isn't necessarily an astrologer, that's really important for me. And if I like somebody, I want to be able to talk about everything I'm into, which is usually psychology, music, language, culture, and whatnot. And also ideas and perspectives that I've had for years, and I don't share with just anybody. In fact, I hardly share with anybody. And I can even surprise myself, like, wow, I'm sharing this? Why am I sharing this? You know, when I like somebody, and when any Aquarius likes somebody, they want to be able to share everything with that person. Again, it's weird. It's the wolf in the pack thing. It's the lone wolf. I don't need anybody. Then we get into the pack, and it's like, I'm one with family. Let me share everything I know and everything I've experienced. So that's a part of who we are. And number 3, they'll want to see if your ideal futures line up. So what your future is, what their future is, they want to see if there's a future, and they want to, and if they do line up, they'll help you with ideas as well as, maybe some structural work or anything like that to help you to achieve your dreams. The future is everything to really, a relationship in general, but it's everything to an Aquarius. I don't mess around with anything that's ephemeral, anything that's casual. And that's not necessarily, I even have Aquarius friends who are not the same. But as per long-term romantic thing, there's still, with all my Aquarian friends, there's that sense of, with anything in life, but especially I think romance, there's an interest in being able to find our best friend who also just happens to be our romantic partner, who's interested in the same things that we're interested in, who we can share ideas with, our ideals with, making the world a better place. That's a huge part of our future. As time goes on, the Aquarius is just getting more ambitious and more focused on what they can contribute to society, if they're healthy. And you could say that that's true for people in general to an extent, but for Saturn-ruled energy, Capricorn and Aquarius, this, again, it just keeps growing. Not necessarily always in quantity, but in quality, in focus. What is my life about? What is my meaning? What is my purpose? What is my fulfillment? What can I contribute? And for an Aquarius, it differs on each Aquarius, but in general, it's what are my ideas and how can I live my life in the best possible way and bring out the best in myself and do what I want to do, but also give to humanity and help it to achieve what I envision it can achieve. This is very serious stuff, and for an Aquarius, and arguably for the world in general. If somebody's future doesn't add up to that, that's perfectly fine. But an Aquarius is not going to be with that person. Or maybe they'll try it out. Maybe the person will change their mind as per their future. Honestly, I think a wise Aquarius would just recognize it ain't happening. This person has a different focus. One of the most romantic things, and it's so funny, but hey, everybody has their thing, their buttons to push. One of the most romantic things for an Aquarius is knowing they have a compatriot, a partner, a romantic partner by their side who also has big dreams and visions for the world and for humanity in their own particular way. And again, everybody's going to be different. A vast vision for the world might be having a bakery. It's not necessarily going and doing charitable work in a third world country or something. Although probably there will be some kind of connection. Like in the bakery, there's a fund for exactly that cause. But still, everybody's going to be different. But there is going to be some kind of vast idea and vast ideal for the Aquarius, and maybe they don't have it right now, but they'll be searching for it, and eventually they'll get it. It's just a matter of time, and that's essential as a real sign that they like you and that it's meant to be. Is when they're asking about your future and what they envision for their future and what you envision for your future lines up. And again, when that does happen, the Aquarius will then help you to envision even vaster, perhaps, in certain ways, but also to fulfill that vision and to manifest reality. So talking about the future, planning for the future, those are key things that an Aquarius not only likes you, but long-term will be committed with you. As always, I'm doing readings. All the info to get into contact with me and the different kind of readings I offer in the About section. We can talk about anything you want. There's just different formats, like recorded video or a Skype live reading, just us or whatever. And also I'm working on a book of the different astrological natal chart placements called Astrological Natal Chart Placements. And it's Sun in Aquarius, Moon this, Rising this, Mercury. It's 250,000 words. I've been pouring the last 9 years of being an astrologer into this, and I'm really loving it. It's not quite done at the making of this video, but maybe by the time you're watching this, it'll be already done. You can purchase it and you can have it and learn all of the stuff about your Aquarius and yourself and be able to thrive, because God knows Aquarians love astrology too, if they're healthy. But everybody can gain from astrology. That's the beauty of it. It's learning about ourselves, learning about others. It's an endless exploration, and there's so much information in this tome of wisdom and literature for you. So I hope you enjoy that as well. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste.